My people, welcome back to another great episode of your favorite show, U&I Talk Show with Louise UWACU. This week we have a great, beautiful actress talking about her work. Stay tuned. All right, my people, thank you so much for being here. Today we're talking to a great talent, Tammy Gillis, mainly an actress, but also busy producing and directing. When do you know which one you want to do, or do you're there waiting for a role and then you're like, okay, in the meantime I'll be directing and producing? Like, how do you add on? Already it's so tough to be an actress, but then how do you add on these things, like directing and producing? By the way, today you look very producer and director.
Thank you. Well, it's interesting because with acting, there's always a lot of downtime in between roles or auditions or what have you. And I love the industry. I love creating and telling stories. And I've always really been interested in directing. And how it started was me just casually mentioning it to some people, and then I got asked to direct a play. Somebody asked me to direct an independent feature. I didn't really feel like I was prepared for either of those yet. And then 3 girls that I've worked with before came to me and said they'd written this web series. And I said, send it on over. I read it, I thought it was funny. I really love doing comedy, so I thought this would be a really good place to get my feet wet.
Yeah, and then, we might as well start from that. So, are you talking about the support group?
I am talking about the support group.
So yeah, tell us about that, the support group. And then we're going to show, in a bit, we're going to show people a little bit of a clip.
Oh, great.
But tell us about that. It looks so funny. What is that about? And then you have a different hair, which still looks good on you.
Yes, this year was a very interesting year for my hair.
Uh-huh.
I booked one job, they needed me to dye my hair dark. I booked another job, I needed to go light. I booked a job that I shot in the middle of the summer and then September that was brown. So I was like, there was a lot of interesting hair experiences. So my character in the support group is the villain, so she has dark hair, which is great. But the support group is about 3 unlikely friends, a sex addict, a hoarder, and an imposter who come together to save their only solace, their beloved support group. So the whole idea behind the support group is that we created a support group that nobody really knows what the support group is for. Everybody has a different problem so that we could have a wide variety of areas to go. So the main character in the very first episode gets some bad news. She has an STD. She finds out she has a sex addiction. She finally finds something other than sex to help make her feel better about herself. And in that episode, the support group gets taken away.
Because she is finding support somewhere else?
No, the villains of the show come in and, I don't want to give too much away. They come in and they buy the community center and they essentially kick them out. So the whole season is about the girls trying to find a way to save the support group because everybody who belongs needs it so much. And then hilariousness ensues.
Yes. So when is this going to be airing, and what is the future that you see for the...
Well, we've actually aired the entire first season. It's available to watch on YouTube under the support group, the web series. But right now we are in discussions with some producers about potentially developing it into a series, so a 22-minute episode series, or we're looking at also doing a second season. So depending on what happens in the next little while, we're either going to expand it or we're going to just jump right into the second season.
Okay, you know what? I think we're going to start by showing the clip, and then we can keep talking about it.
Great.
Well, recently I found out that I have an STD. I think I also realized that I have a sex addiction.
The support group will no longer be operating.
I have plenty of friends with benefits.
Brandon?
Mom?
Oh no!
She's a nasty bitch.
She's his nasty bitch. I'm supposed to be his nasty bitch.
I won't stop until all support groups are humiliated and destroyed.
Ow! Enough with the bottles in my face!
Oh, God.
I'm becoming a better person.
So funny.
Thank you.
So where is this set? Is this happening in which city?
We haven't really made it a specific city, but we filmed it all here in Vancouver. We had 2 main locations, Camp Magnolia Restaurant and then the Pipe Shop in North Van.
It's not raining in the series though.
That's because we shot it in the summer.
It looks great in summer and everything. I'm like, where is this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all Vancouver.
Nice. Okay, so we're just gonna take a short break and then keep talking about your work and everything that you're doing.
Okay.
U&I Talk Show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show.
All right, my people, we're back and we're still talking to Tammy Gillis, very talented actress. So you were actually born in Manitoba.
That's right.
How was your growing up, and what was it about your growing up that made you want to become an actress?
Well, I grew up in a really small town.
That's what I'm thinking.
About
It's such a-
400 people.
Yeah.
My dad is a farmer. He also worked for CN, and then my mom was a secretary in the school in the town. So I didn't really grow up wanting to be an actor because I never met any actors, but I got bitten by the bug in grade 7 when a new drama teacher, an English teacher, moved to town, and she got us to put on a play, and we formed a drama club. So in my first play, I played Grandpa. There was no men, no boys in our group for some reason. So I was Grandpa, and I loved it. The second, I remember walking onto stage and shoving like a t-shirt down my pants so that I could be this old sort of grump that was like, and I'd get a laugh every time, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. But then I went to university, and I was going to be a lawyer, and I was discovered at a bar one night for modeling, and so I started modeling, and through that I started doing commercials.
Hold on, you went to university?
Yes.
Then you went to party?
Well, you know, partying is part of
keep that
university.
part right there. And then in a bar, somebody saw you and they're like, you should be a model.
Yeah, it was a modeling agent in Winnipeg, and they gave me their card, and I ended up signing with them, and I started doing commercials and doing work. And Winnipeg is a really big independent film scene, so I got really involved in that, and I just found out I loved it. So all of my elective courses that used to be like calculus and math and stuff started to become theater. And then I graduated with my BA, and I decided this is what I want to do. I don't want to go into law, I want to be an actor.
So, and then you were like, bye, Winnipeg. I'm off to Vancouver. How did that happen?
I worked for a little while in Winnipeg. Actually, the very first movie I worked on there was called Inside the Osmonds, about the Osmond family. And the entire Osmond family was actually flown out to Winnipeg.
Whoa.
And they're in the end of the movie.
To do what?
They sang on stage.
No way.
It was crazy. So after I did that, and I did a couple more things, then I decided, once I had some projects on my resume and some money, that I could move out to Vancouver.
Very nice. So you are also the lead in the Hallmark Channel's Unleashing Mr. Darcy. So how is that? That's like a romantic type of movie, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of the main leads. The story is a modern take on Pride and Prejudice. So the two lead characters is played by, well, I'm the older sister of the lead female character, Elizabeth. And then, of course, there's Mr. Darcy. So
Are you guys fighting for him?
No, we did not fight for him. We both found love. It was a really, really fun show to shoot. Cindy Busby is the lead, and then Ryan Pavey from General Hospital is the male lead, and then Frances Fisher as well, who I'm sure everybody knows from Titanic, was also in the movie. But it was so much fun because it takes place within the confines of a dog show. So we had dogs and puppies around like all the time. It was pretty fun.
Where were you filming?
We filmed one day in Vancouver, but a lot of it was shot outside in like Langley.
Nice. So do you find that this is the right city for you, or do you often have to go somewhere else to do your shoots?
Well, I've been really lucky because I've been able to work all across Canada. I've worked consistently here in Vancouver, but I've also worked on a couple of different shows in Winnipeg. I actually just shot a movie there this summer for 3 weeks, and then I went to Spain for a week, which was pretty awesome.
Yes, that's a very interesting movie. It's called Menorca.
That's right.
So how do they plan, like we're shooting a movie in Winnipeg and Spain, like two different, very different. Like how is that even? Yeah.
Well, the director and writer of the movie is originally from Winnipeg.
Okay.
So he wrote the movie, and it's called Menorca, which is an island in Spain. So the whole premise of the movie is this mother and wife who's very, very unhappy. And in the middle of her son's soccer game, she just leaves and decides to go off and indulge her fantasies in this little adventure. And she realizes on the trip that the most important thing to her is actually her son.
Okay. And she had left the son in Winnipeg.
She's left the son
Party
and the
in
husband,
Spain.
and she's partying. But the whole reason Spain sort of comes into it is they were on a family vacation a year earlier, and her son took a rock home with him from Menorca. And being kids, he felt really bad, and he felt like he'd stolen it. And he wanted the rock to be returned, and my husband and I were saying, it's impossible, we can't do that. And so he basically cuts me out of his life, and I feel like one of the only ways I can get him back is if I take this rock back for him. So I go on this big journey to Menorca, and I can't really give away the rest because you need to watch the movie. It's we're hoping that it'll hit film festivals all around, but we have Canadian distribution, so it'll at least be playing in Canada.
And so how was it to go and shoot in Spain, and how are the Spanish people working versus the Canadians, and the whole siesta thing? You know how in Spain everybody goes to take a nap in the afternoon?
Oh yeah.
How did that work when you were filming in it?
Well, it was really interesting because the hard part was like literally flying there, having that night, and then working the next day. I was just like, where am I? What planet am I on?
Yeah, and the time zone.
The time zones, it was just crazy. But when I finally arrived in Ciudadela, which is where we stayed, it was the siesta. So it was completely dead. I was like, where are the people? What's going on? I didn't actually think it existed, but really from like 2:30 to about 5:30, it is a ghost town. And I was just like, what am I gonna do? I'm hungry. So it was that was interesting. Took some getting used to.
Yeah.
But working in Menorca versus Winnipeg was different, just in the sense that we had a really, really small crew. But the people were amazing and really, really welcoming and really excited to learn about the project.
Wow. Okay, let's take a short break and come back, and you'll tell us how you were speaking Spanish.
U&I Talk Show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show.
All right, my people, we're back. We're still talking to the very talented, very beautiful Tammy Gillis. So you're in Spain Did you learn how to siesta? Did you learn Spanish, or were you already speaking a little bit?
Oh, I know very, very little. I know like uno más, por favor. Not a lot.
Okay.
The good thing is that the town we were actually staying in has a very, very big tourist industry. So
Which town is this?
it's Ciudadela.
Okay.
It's called Ciudadela de Menorca.
Which side of Spain is Citadela?
Well, the Menorca
You have to
itself
fly to
is
like
an
Barcelona
island.
or?
No, it's actually an island off the coast of Spain. So there's 3 islands, so Menorca is one of them.
Oh, I see. One of those very beautiful places.
Very beautiful.
And then do you work all the time, or like what's the schedule like versus, you know how people here in Canada, they're working and working and working versus now a more relaxed way of working. How did that adjustment come?
Well, it was challenging because of the travel, the jet lag, the time difference. But I was lucky because I had the first day off when I got there. But then the next morning it was interesting because as the days went on, we kept getting earlier and earlier call times. It's usually the reverse. So I think the first day, maybe the call time was 7 a.m. and we finished probably at about 7. And then the next day it was earlier, and then the very last day that I was shooting, we had to get up at, I think it was 3:30 because we needed to shoot at the sunrise. Oh. So that was challenging. Mm-hmm. And then being out in the sun all day long, I'm very, very fair. That was challenging, not getting totally fried.
Had a sun cream, you know?
Constantly lathering it on.
Or did you have a guy carry an umbrella for you?
No,
you know, since you're a star on a
Unfortunately
set.
not on this one. It was interesting because on the last day we shot at this beach that's a nude beach, and we had to hike in about 3 miles. So there was no star treatment, there was none of that. I was like hiking 4 bags, sweating along with everybody else.
Wow. So you're playing drama, and then you're playing comedy, and then you're playing other kinds of stuff. But what is like your favorite thing to portray and to do? Where do you feel the most comfortable?
Well, I really I love comedy. It's always so much fun. The energy is always like really high. Everybody's always really into it. But this summer, I had the opportunity to play an army medic who goes missing in Afghanistan. So I was like falling out of helicopters and shooting guns, and I got to fall down a cliff. So I felt like an action hero, and that was amazing.
And you're in your military gear, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw some clips on the internet. You're wearing the whole military gear.
Well, in the beginning, when before I get captured, I have the whole gear, all the GAC, everything on, and it was not cool in Victoria during that time. We were shooting in a gravel pit in Victoria, and it was about 40 to 45 degrees, and then with all of that stuff on.
Wow.
It was
But that's brilliant on behalf of the production to make Victoria look like Afghanistan.
It was really amazing. We all think that it just turned out absolutely incredibly. You watch it and you wouldn't know that it's a Hallmark movie at all. So many people were like, "This looks like Homeland. This actually looks like Afghanistan." They did a really amazing job with the production design.
Yeah. And so what is the preparation for such a movie? Do you have to watch other war movies? Do you have to talk to soldiers? Like, what is the preparation?
It was interesting because the creator of the series, the Signed, Sealed, Delivered series, took me aside on my very first day of shooting because it ended up being 2 movies. So in the first part, she talked to me about what the second movie was going to be about, and nobody else on the production had any idea. And everybody was like, what did she give you? What did she tell you? Tell us. I'm like, I'm not allowed to say anything. So she pulled me aside, which I'm really grateful for, Martha Williamson, because she talked to me that my character would be held in captivity for 18 months. What would somebody go through during that? So I watched a lot of documentaries. I read a lot of the biographies of female military soldiers who were captured. So I did a lot of research, but the coolest part of it was that a very good friend of mine who's an actor, Mark Valley, has actually served in a couple of tours in Iraq. And I've talked to him about that before. And I was gonna reach out to him and call him and say, hey, can you give me a little bit of insight? What was it like when you came home? Did you have PTSD? That sort of thing. And then I found out that he booked the role of Agent Steve, who is the one that sends them on the special mission to rescue me.
Wow.
It was so serendipitous. I was like, this is amazing.
You're in the same movie now?
In the same movie.
Wow.
He's the guy who sends them on the mission to rescue me.
Wow, so all of a sudden you don't have to go too far to find what you look for. Your co-actor is doing that.
Yeah, I got the opportunity. I talked to him a lot about it, which was, he gave me a lot of really great insight.
Yeah, and what are some of the, like, one thing that really helped you that he told you that you had to bring out of you?
Well, it was more about how he felt when he came home.
Yeah.
And what it was like when they were in the middle of it, because he was lucky because he never got injured and he never got captured. So I talked to him a lot about when he got home, how did that change him? Did he feel that it had changed him? Did he go through? And he said that the interesting thing for him is that at the time he didn't feel like it really had affected him, but then he had a moment where he realized, like, I'm not okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's take a short break. We're still okay, though. We'll be back.
U&I Talk show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show.
All right, we're back, my people. So it's very fascinating what you do because you have to transform yourself and jump into a new character. But you have also served on the jury as a member of the Canadian Screen Awards past year. Now we have the Oscars going on, the awards. Do you think that awards are still relevant? And what is the purpose and the point of awards? And if you don't get an award, are you still a great actress or do you still need to win that award?
Wow, what a challenging and complicated question. I don't feel that you have to win an award to feel that you're a good actor. I think that there's a lot of performances that go unrecognized. And it's wonderful to have the support of your peers. Like, for instance, the Canadian Screen Awards. As a juror, you get sent a wide variety of material for a number of people that are nominated for the award. And then it's your job as the jury member to watch them all, and then you meet with the other jurors and you decide who deserves the nomination. So what I love about that is that your peers are the ones that are sort of judging you on that. And then it comes down to 50% is the jury voting, and then 50% is everybody that's a member of the Canadian Screen, the Canadian Screen Awards, who's a member of that to vote on it. So I think that there's definitely something to be said for being recognized by your peers. There's definitely a big political part of awards that exists more so, I think, in America than in Canada. And awards in Canada aren't as big of a deal as they are in the US. Like the Oscars for any actor, it's like that's the pinnacle, right? In Canada, it doesn't have quite the same impact. It's wonderful to be recognized, and I'm sure it's amazing to win an award one day, hopefully.
It's coming. I see it coming.
But oh, thank you. But I think that, like, my focus as an actor is more about I want to tell really good stories and I want to affect people. And so when people watch the projects that I do and it changes them in some way, or it makes them laugh, or it makes them cry, or it makes them feel something, that to me is the important thing.
So, in terms of judging people when you're on the jury, I mean, how hard is it you're comparing, let's say, Leonardo DiCaprio? He's such a great actor, but then he hasn't been winning that Oscar, but he's done such a great job. I mean, how do people explain it when you're on the jury and such a great actor is performing and he doesn't win? I mean, what's going on? Do you have any idea, or is there, or can people bribe the jury sometimes?
Well, it was interesting. Our jury, the group I was part of, we could not be bribed.
Okay.
We were all about who is the best.
Okay.
Who is the best person to win this award? And I personally feel like that's how it should be, but I don't always think that that's what happens. I personally think Leonardo DiCaprio should have won the Oscar for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. His performance in that was absolutely phenomenal, especially for his age. But what's interesting, if you look at the CSAs, there are, like Brie Larson from Room is nominated against some like Canadian actors in independent films. And can you really equate the two? It's hard. She's nominated for an Oscar, right? But is her performance better than the other people?
And then the thing is that if it's a huge movie, do people give better performances? Or if it's an independent movie, or does the performance even depend on the budget of the movie, you know, like?
Well, I think that the performance, it depends on the performance, because even if you look at the Oscars, you look at a lower budget project like Room versus an extremely high budget project like Mad Max. And to me, Brie Larson's performance is more compelling. Not to say that I'm not sure if Charlize Theron is nominated, but not to say her performance wasn't amazing. It was, but is it on the same level? I'm not sure.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
At least for me, that's what I think.
All right, Tammy Gillis, thank you so much for being here. It's short, but it's sweet. So we really hope that you're going to come back when you win.
Oh,
don't forget about U&I. Any last words that you'd like to say to your audience? Like, drop something or?
Well, just look forward to Menorca coming out soon. We're going to be in Canadian theaters for sure. Hopefully we'll hit some film festivals. Something that I worked very, very hard on. And I'm really nervous about it, I'm not going to lie. It's something that's very dark and very challenging compared to a lot of the other projects I've done. So I hope that people come and watch it.
All right, my people, you heard it. Support your Canadian international artists.